Big news, guys. I'm walking into the mine right now and we're getting ready to kick off the 2024 mining season. Last season, I opened a 125-year-old gold mine. We rehabbed over 1,000 feet of workings. We got to the gold vein and we started drilling and blasting. And it's finally happening. I'm putting the road in right now to the mine and we're gonna get mining this year. Got a road coming up to the mine. And we're getting close. We just have to go up to that rock face there behind him. Well, I call this the first hour of actual work at our mine. I brought up some miners to help me out. This is Chad and Harry from Mine Operator. They've come up. They're going to be here kind of intermittently throughout the season when their schedule allows. And the first part we got to do is get the mine safe to work in, and that's going to begin with the portals. I got a portal right here, and I've got a portal right here behind me. And I'm going to get those timbered up. And then once I get it timbered up, I can put some doors on it and store some equipment back there, keep it safe, and then we can get back into the mine. Instead of going to the store to buy timbers, that's just boring, I thought I'd go cut down some trees and build up my own. And we'll figure out how much they're worth. So to scale a log, you measure across the small end here. This is the small end of the log. This one is 25 inches that way. You always take the smallest dimension inside the bark. So we got 25 on this log. So let's get our scale chart out and we'll figure out how much wood's in this log. Here's our scale chart. And the numbers across the top here are the diameter in inches of the top of the tree. So we had 25, and then length in feet down the side here. So 32 and 25, that's 920 board feet in that one log. And that log's $550 a thousand. So doing the math on that, that one log's worth $506. Well, those two trees we got, I had 2 logs each. And when I scaled all 4 of those logs together, I got just over 2,100 board feet. And at right around 5 or 550 a thousand, that's just over $1,000 in those 2 trees. All right, well, against my better judgment, I got that whole 40-foot log up on the truck bed. I got 2 12s, and I ended up with 2 8-footers out of it. So we'll cut some nice beams and lagging out of that stuff. So Fred's out back getting the logs, and he's gonna bring them over and load them on this Baker sawmill here behind us. And I'm gonna cut them into true dimension 6x6, 4x4s, and then 2x for lagging. And so we can get them up to the mine and do some timbering up the raises and help hold up the hanging wall. All right, Fred, what do you think of the logs?
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
It needs to be clean.
Is that a good log or a bad log?
It's fine.
It's a fine log. So I just scaled our log here. It's 26 inches across on the small end, 12 feet long, and my log scale calculator says there's 360 board feet in this one log, which is actually quite a bit. It's, no matter what Fred says, it's a pretty nice log. So we're going to cut it up into that 6x6, 4x4s, and 2x, and then I can calculate how many board feet we actually got out of the log, and we'll compare. But a board foot is a 1-inch thick, 12-inch square of wood. That's 1 board foot. So there should be 360 of those in this log. Well, we've whittled our log down to this. We got a bunch of 2x here. We're going to edge a little later, cut down to a little more manageable size. Those are way too wide to handle underground. But this, what we have left over, we can get six 6x6s out of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, here's a quick rundown of what we cut today. Bunch of lag in there. Nice 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x12s. We got some 6x, some 4x. And over here, this is our last log with a bunch of 6 and 4x. Well, now let's get started on our portal here. I'm going to do a little bit of a modified cap and post situation here. I've got a real nice hitch right in here, and I've got a nice hitch here. So I'm going to start by just wedging a 4x4 right across here, and then I'll work on bringing the posts up underneath, and we'll have to fill in this hole here to seal it all off. These battery-powered tools are going to revolutionize the gold mining industry for me, because you can take them underground, they don't have any emissions, the batteries last a long time. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of different tools I'm going to use. And when I was doing it back 15 years ago, we had air saws, hand saws for tight spots. It was just a real pain. So this is going to make my job a whole lot easier. Oh, that thing's amazing. It's so much faster than by hand. Yeah, now I can get a couple wedges right here in the back of this one, and it'll tighten that right up. And get that wedge in there nice and tight. And I can put another longer wedge. From the outside looking in here, we got her wedged both sides. That's the one I showed you. And then over here. And of course, the wedges break and stuff, but you just drive them in where you can. And nice and hard now. So now we got a little wooden spot we can build off of here. So now I've got it all tied in on the bottom. I've run out of wood, so I'll have to go back and get some more wood, but that's as far as we can get on that project today. So let's go and take a look at the next one. Well, here's our other portal. This is the one that we're going to be actively using. And I don't know if you can tell, but it just kind of drops off here in front, right down like that. But right over there is the truck. So what I want to do is make a little deck out here. And once I get the deck out here, then we can start accessing the truck a whole lot easier. All that work and I broke at the joint. Well, here's my plan now. I've got this hammer drill with a 3/16 bit on it and a 1/4 inch concrete anchor. So now I can drill a hole into the rock, drill this through the 2x4 and anchor it into the rock. So I put this little ladder in here so you can access it right off the truck landing here. You walk up, you get a nice platform here, and there's back into the mine. But now it's time for a little rest. I've already started work on the next morning. I got our first portal finished off there. Got it all closed up so no one's going to wander in there. And I've worked a little bit more on our deck here. Added some additional handrail, some stuff like that, cross pieces down here. I've got some little pieces wedged up against the back there, and now I'm just scabbing on pieces to seal up the edges, and then we'll work on the door. Well, we did it. We got it all boarded up. I don't have any hinges with me, so I'll have to come back and make some doors another day. But we are all sealed up, both portals, that one and that one over there. So mission accomplished. And I've milled up all this wood, actually. This is all off my property down in Skagit County. I've got another channel if you want to see where all this wood came from and how we got it milled up. I'll put it in the description below. But hey, we're crushing rock today, so let's go get set up. This is one of Mount Baker Mining and Metals 8x12 gas-powered jaw crushers. Here's the feed inlet. So I'm just gonna huck rocks in here. They're gonna fall down in here and through the jaws. Once they get through the jaws, they'll come down this little chute here. I'm gonna try and catch them in a sandbag there. The whole unit's run by this Honda GX 690. Great little motor, and just powers right through pretty much anything I can throw in there. This is a little demo unit as well. So if you're interested in picking this unit up, give us a call or send us an email. But now let's see how it works. Well, I don't know if you'd call that fun, but I got 20 bags crushed, and some of you are probably thinking, what in the world is this guy doing? This is ridiculous. Just buy gravel and bring it up here. But there's no fun in that. This is way more fun. I learned a couple things. One, I spent more time fiddle farting around with those sandbags at the bottom of the chute than I did actually crushing. So I don't know if the sandbags are the best way to go. But then also, it's way less work to take two 20 or 30 pound rocks, put them right through the crusher, and then you got a sandbag full rather than picking up, the 24 little tiny rocks. Those are the couple things I learned. But now what I'm gonna do, let's see if I can show you here. I got the truck pulled out. I'm gonna just crush 3 or 4 big piles here so that I'll have gravel if I ever need more. And I got this mountain of stuff behind me that's gonna make real nice crush. Well, there it is. I estimate that thing's 3 feet in diameter, 2.5 feet tall, and pretty much a cone. So if someone out there can figure out the volume of that pile, let me know. It took me 400 seconds to run that, which I think is about 8 minutes or something like that. And I could not keep up with it. The hopper was never full. The rocks were always going in the jaw, and as soon as I threw one in, it always went down into the jaw. That thing is a beast. Well, I've decided what I really need is an excavator, a little mini excavator. Because if I had a little excavator up here, I could just scoop that pile up, run it through the jaw crusher, and I could take that whole pile as 6" minus, bring it down to nice gravel. I can really use an excavator up here for road work, lifting up stuff, moving stuff around. And I was thinking, I want to try something with you guys. It's a little experiment. So what I want you to do is I want you to leave me a comment down below and hashtag or mention your favorite construction company, Caterpillar, Kubota, John Deere, Yanmar, whatever. Help me out get sponsored by an excavator company. But now let's get these bags up to the mine. We'll get them spread out along the floor, make it real nice and smooth for us. Now comes the fun part. We get to spread our gravel. And I've got our first little section of the drift cleaned out a little bit. Still got some more to do, but I wanted to show you what I'm dealing with. I've got all this mucky, wet, soggy stuff. And I want to get a pretty firm base that I can run the wheelbarrow down. All right, here comes the fun part. Let's see what the best way to do this is. Well, that's something. Well, there we go. Spread 19 bags. I'm going to keep one bag for if a spot gets a little mucky. I ended up going about 55 feet. And it actually did really good. I thought I was going to need more base. There was so much muck that I thought I was going to lose it and just have all the gravel go into the muck. But the gravel's held up pretty good. So here's my plan. I've got about 10% of the way there. And behind me is a gold mine. I'm trying to get rehabbed so I can get some gold back out of it. So today we're going to do some timber sets. We're going to get this shop area cleaned out. We're going to get set up, mucked out, and get ready to go mining. I wanted to start out here so you get your bearings a little bit. On a previous video, I timbered up all this deck and did a little header at our portal. But on today's video, we're going to go in, take a tour inside here. So I've got some stuff staged. There we go. I got my little lantern going so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Bunch of rail, bunch of junk. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up so I can do some timber work in here. But this little thing is the coolest thing. Little battery powered lantern. It's an LED thing. Lasts a long time. So I got a link in the description if you want to check that thing out. And our first hitch is going to be right up there. There's a nice little spot right there. I can get a timber in. And what I got to do now is I got to dig out a hole in the floor. I got to get down to good solid rock. So when I squeeze the top with wedges, it really tightens up against the floor. If I put it on this, it's just going to mush down to nothing. So let me get that mucked out. And I brought up these big 6x6s, true dimension. They're 12 feet long, so we'll get some of these cut down to the right dimensions. The bottom's about a foot down there, just covered in muck. But I'm down to nice hard rock there. So I've got my little battery powered Sawzall here. These things are the best. I said this in my previous video. This revolutionizes underground mining because you don't need air tools. You don't need gas tools, which you can't use. And it beats the heck out of a handsaw, I'll tell you that. So let me get this thing cut at 115. See if it'll do it. It's a true 6x6. It's going to be close. Oh man, look at that. Right through a knot the whole way. I was wondering why it was hard to cut. I guess when you have a knot, it slows you down a little bit. Boy, it powered right through. Nice work. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Oh. Well, I've done some trimming on it. I think it's going to go in there now. So now I just got to tap it in. All right, well now I'll take some wedges. Well, let me tell you, this one was a pain in the keister. But I think I got it where I want it here. There we go. Like that. Now let me get some wedges in the top there. Get this thing put to bed here. Well there, now maybe you can see. I'm just going to drive 2 wedges in on my second one here. Okay, good. Good stuff. Now for one in the middle. Alright guys, well my battery's running low and my batteries are running low. So I'm going to call it quits today, but I wanted to give you a little update. I've got our stalls kind of walled off. I put some bigger timbers in the middle so I can hang stuff off of. This is going to be kind of our shop room. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever built, but it's going to be functional, so that's what we're going for here. We got our shop space all set up. I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour. We got our wall there behind us, all our tools hanging on there. Some slickers, PPE stuff over here. A nice little Milwaukee lantern I like. And then back here is the way into the mines. So right now we're working on getting that rehabbed. So let's go take a look. Doing a little bar down training in here and looking for loose stuff. As he goes along, he's just testing for the sound initially. It's got that nice ring to it. So it's all pretty good ground here. But anytime you go into a new heading, you want to just bar down, make sure there's nothing over your head. Pretty good ground, huh?
Yeah, no, it all sounds great. A couple of small, very tiny pieces that are coming down. No, real small stuff, but no. Ground
Cool.
looks great.
Awesome. Well, we barred down the first 100 feet or so. Now our next job is getting rid of all this rail, all this timber, all this junk. Quit. Ready? Which way are we going? Go down there?
Yeah, might as well. Might as well. All pipe went down the hole. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Nice deep hollow sound. Good. Okay. No, here. Write your names on that. You gotta sign it, it's your first one.
All right, autographs.
There we go, sign in their first stall. Somewhere, yeah, up where it stays dry. And okay, now you're part of history. Good work, guys. Well, I'll follow Harry and Chad back underground here. We'll get a tour of what we accomplished yesterday. We're gonna do our workplace inspection, do a little bar down on the way in here.
I didn't tend to hear it.
Yeah. Chad, why don't you tell me a little bit about what we did yesterday in here and how it all went?
Sure. Yeah, Jason, we were able to cut the fish plates on the rail, get the rail out of here. We're able to get the sleepers out of here and cut the airline. We had a lot of airline, a lot of rail to move. It's quite the workout. But there was a lot of water dammed up too that we had to dredge through.
Oh yeah, it's behind this dam here.
Yeah, so right here, there's a little barricade, water accumulating. So once we got the pit ditch dug out, water's draining really good and it's starting to dry out. But we still have a lot of work ahead of us, as you can tell. We gotta
Yeah,
get
we'll
this solid.
bring some gravel in and we got to get a wheelbarrow through here, move some of these bigger rocks. But yeah, you did a lot of work yesterday.
We sure did, and you know, it's a lot cooler down here than our mine. So
Yeah.
we're used to 67 underground, and it's 38 here. So.
Yeah, exactly. Nice refrigerator to work in.
Yeah.
So are we going to do a little bit more raking on the floor here and get some of the rocks cleaned out, you think?
Yeah, we could build this up a little bit and get some of the big guys out. We want to get either a cart or a wheelbarrow through to just carry materials back and forth.
Right.
And this water line we're going to reuse. So we'll end up getting this off the ground and hanging at some point.
Yeah, we'll put some hangers up here on the ribs somewhere. How's it look, Harry?
Wonderful.
Barred down?
Yeah.
Workplace inspection. Looks good.
Nothing's moved.
Okay. Cool. Let's go back and take a look at that heading we closed off. Show them how we did that. I'll get right in here. So, underground signage is a big deal. That's the way to the exit. That's our portal there. So you want to mark that with signage. And here's a drift we're not going to be using, so we just closed it off, no entry. So we don't have to maintain that. That can be just left as is. And everyone knows now to stay out of there because it's not safe. It hasn't been inspected and barred down. And then turning around here, walking a little further down the drift. Here's some air hose we left from yesterday, our airline. That's a big, heavy steel bugger. It's really, really difficult. And like Chad was saying earlier, it seems like when we find a coupling, like right there, let me try and change my light here so it's not so. When you find a coupling like that, they can wedge it up and beat on it. It comes apart, just like here. We got some wood, blocked it up, and it broke. This is going to be a project for our next video. This is as far as we've gone. You can see the signs down there, restricted area, do not enter. So this is as far as we've rehabbed our mine now. But if you look up, this big raise goes up there. I don't know, what do you think, 50 feet? More?
50.
50
Yeah,
anyway.
Sounds right.
And we don't want to be working under all that rock up there. We don't want to have to get up there and maintain it. It's just not safe. So in our next video, we're going to put up some stoles here and lag that off so we have some protection from overhead. We're going to be doing a little timber work. We got a big old nasty raise hanging over our head right on our haulageway. So we're going to get this thing all timbered up and secure so we don't have any big rocks rolling down on us while we're working in our gold mine here. Here's our main haulageway here. Coming along, we've been doing a lot of work to get this thing all rehabbed up. But right above here, the old timers chased a vein way up about 50 to 75 feet above the haulageway and left it open. And so what I really want to do today is get this totally boarded up and secured so if a rock comes rolling down out of there, we're not going to have any exposure to it. So our first thing is we were barred down in here a little bit and we found this big nasty piece right here. Big chunk of quartz, hundreds of pounds. And imagine someone walking under there and that thing comes down. That's a backbreaker or a killer there. So it's really important before you get in your workspace, you bar everything down and make it safe for yourself. So I'm going to try and get this loosened up and out of here. We'll see if I can get it. Use my light so I can see here. want to stand back out of the way. I'm clear. I got an escape way behind me here if I need. We'll just get this thing going and see what happens. Look at that. Oh, man. Okay, ready? Here it comes. Woo! So our first stall is going to go, I got a nice little hitch here. Just going to measure up. I've got a really nice spot here. And it's more or less perpendicular to the hanging foot wall, which is what you want. That's where you're going to get your most strength. So we need one 67.5 plus the tape. So 69.5, 69 3/4 roughly.
69 3/4.
69 3/4 out of our 4x6.
Got the weight.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, there we go. That's gonna be a good one there. And heads up, just in case something comes out. Yeah. That's going. Good stall. Well, we got our stall in our hitch here. Got a couple wedges. And got a nice hitch up there on the hanging wall. Nice stall. Now we'll do our next one over here somewhere. And then the big boy over there. We got another kind of nasty piece here. Now that I'm up here, I can see it and scale it. Let's see if I can get this big old piece out of the hanging wall. Woo. Yeah, big one. We've changed our plan a little bit. We've moved our stole down. And when I was up there, I was picking on some of this ravelly stuff up above. And when you're up there, you can get a little better look at it. And we made the decision to bring our stalls down closer to the haulageway, run a piece of lagging all the way across to hold any of this loose stuff, any of these cracks. It's all in pretty good shape. Got a little cap on there. And so we're gonna bring another stall, a 6x right down there by Chad's knees, bring it up. Then we're gonna do a spreader between the two of them, and then we can stack our lagging up behind and get this all sealed off. Yes. Go Milwaukee. So we're gonna just we're gonna lift it straight up and just get it there.
Okay.
And then we're gonna ease it into our board and see how we fit. Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, that's good right there. Okay. Hold it right there a second.
Done. And you can flex that board up.
Yeah, you can push it up a little bit. Here, I got this. It's going like a quarter, but there, yeah, almost a little more.
One more push.
Okay, not quite a hammer it down. Yeah, there. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Hold it right there.
Okay.
That's what we want. That's kind of what we want.
Want the hammer?
I can hold it. Well, we're in a little bit of a tight spot here because. Go ahead and tap it down there a little more, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe tap that block. What do I got for you? With like a couple of wedges just to hold it.
Roger.
Just drive those in, just tighten it up a little bit so we can.
On the stole itself?
No, up, yep, there you go, on the back. Just lightly, we'll take them out later, but. Okay, good, we got our stole set there at least. Okay, Harry, what do you think?
Well, it went in pretty easy, but I don't like how the board flexes.
Yeah, we'll tighten all that up later.
When we block that, we think we should be good.
Here's the thing I don't like,
Yeah, that'll kick right out.
is it'll kick right out. And so we're gonna have to do something there to beat it back up.
You need a
And
hitch.
we probably are gonna have to shorten it some. So we'll deal with that next. We got our stall set. That was quite a chore, but we did it. I put a little spreader in here across the header because this beam is tweaked in just a little bit. So if this starts taking any weight, it can't just fall in like that and the whole thing pops out. And now we're starting to work on getting our lagging wall built up. So here in about 5-10 minutes, this will be sealed off and we can have a nice safe haulageway underneath. We're just finishing up our little project here with the blocking off the rays. And look at that, thing of beauty. Man, that was a big project. But we've got our big stalls holding back true 2-inch lagging. And that'll hold up stuff that comes rolling out of there if it ever does. I doubt it ever will. The ground here is really, really good. But we're protected now. And now we can move ahead and keep going. Well, thanks for watching our video on stalling up that big nasty hole over our haulageway. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe because we've got a lot more videos coming up and we are working our way to the stope where we're going to start gold mining. So stay tuned and we'll see you on the next one. We're working on our gold mine again today and I wanted to give you a little tour about what we're doing. You're looking back towards the portal now and on the left we've got our little drainage ditch and we've drained this section real nicely so we got fairly dry, hard ground. But over here we've got a little bit of a problem because we have two separate raises here. There's one that we timbered up in a previous video, and there's another one right over there where Chad and Harry are standing. And over the years they've tinkled stuff down onto the drift floor and dammed up a bunch of water back up in the drift. So we've got a big pond here, and this is actually relatively small. But then we've got this big one over here, and that's about 6 or 8 inches deep. So our goal today is just like Harry's working on here, dig out our drainage ditch, get these big piles of muck spread out so we can get our carts and wheelbarrows through here. Building up a nice base. It's a freeway in here now. We're just working our way around the corner. Chad's out in front and scaling. He's been working in this big room here. It's taking a little bit of time, but because it's short and it doesn't go up very far, we can scale all the way to the back there. And we figure we don't need to timber it up. It's all really good ground in here. More mud.
It's a big one.
Yeah, Chad's got a lunker here. All right, Chad, let's see if we can knock this guy down. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
You want the long pole?
That's why we bar down.
That's why we bar down. Don't want to get hit with that.
Yeah, let's take the long one.
Nice. Well, we've got our section here pretty well smoothed out. We got a wheelbarrow back here. Now we're going to start mining this muck and taking it back to where Chad's working and filling in those deep mucky spots. Try and get it nice and smooth so we can move muck later a whole lot easier. You don't want to be fighting it every time you got to do a muck run. We'll try and show you some of our progress here. We robbed some muck out of here to pave the way down here a little bit farther. And once we came around this corner, we had a big old pile of muck here, right here in the edge of the drift, right up on the against the rib. So we're just using that. We're pulling that over, spreading it out. We're going to have a piss ditch problem because now we got to get our piss ditch from here over to this side, but that's okay. And we're just working our way down. We've probably we've made 50 or 75 feet of drift, 50 maybe. And Chad's down there doing his thing. But this is what it looked like before, just a big old swamp, big puddle, mucky, nasty mess. And then we're filling it in so we can get our wheelbarrow on it. Yeah, we can move that, I think. Oh, now it's easy. Now it's easy. Yeah, just roll that stuff around, we'll put rock on it. We got the water flowing now. Look at there. It's just coming out of there like crazy. Yeah, drain the mine. Well, we're back to our muck pile towards the portal. We ran out of muck along the ribs. And you may be asking yourself, why in the world are you doing all this work? Just run your wheelbarrow through it. Well, it's really hard to run a wheelbarrow back and forth through 6 inches of water and 3 inches of muck. And the couple hours it took us to improve, uh-oh, my light's going dead. A couple hours it took us to improve our drift here is going to save us a ton of time and energy and cursing and everything when we're actually mucking and bringing stuff down out of the stope. So we're trying to get it in shape, take an extra day or two, and the hope is it saves us a whole bunch of work on the backside. And this is what it looks like when it's spreading the floor. Real nice. It's still sloppy wet, so it'll drain overnight some. But then this is the stuff we're dealing with. Look at this gross stuff here. Just slime, mud, slipping all over you, sink in it. It's terrible. So we're trying to get that capped with some of this hard stuff. It works pretty good. It really does. Like I say, it's still a little soupy here, but oh, here it comes. Let me get the rake out of the way. Falling down on the job here.
Where do you want it?
Right there. If you can. Oh, we can't dump it. I gotta rake it out of there. Oh, you got it. There we go. Now I'll spread all that good stuff. I don't know if you can see it back there. All right, let her have it, Chad. Let's get this water flowing. Here it comes.
Yeah, let the river go.
There we go.
Time to drain the line. Man.
There she goes. It may not look like much, but we worked an hour just to see this.
Hey, look, it's covering my boots.
It's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep enough. We got to get that water out of there.
Yeah, you can't see the top.
Yeah, look at that. Chad's in a mire there. He's in a swamp. This is a big deal. We're getting the water out of here. Yeah. Let it flow.
It's kind of like working with concrete. It'd be so exciting.
I know, this is so much fun. Look at all that water running downhill just like it's supposed to do. There it goes. All the way down. We've got a pretty nasty chunk here. Let's see if I can scale it with one hand. Yeah. Don't want that hitting your toe. Still got a lot of work to do back up in there. We've been picking at this area for a little while and we've gotten quite a bit of muck down. We've moved some of it, some bigger chunks over there. And we're still not real happy with it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run a stall from right up here down into this corner and then put a big board up there to hold up some of that ravelly ground. Now this is set up right in here, just like that. Got to dig out a little hitch for our stall on the bottom here. Looks like that's hard. Yeah, get a spot down there you like.
I like that spot.
Right. And then we come to here, which is all right. So now this is going to be a little awkward thing. So let's do, see if we can get it the hole first. Beautiful. And then we're going to tag that like that. There we go. There's some lead. Yep. So now we got our support up, holding our back up. We got a little support on our rib, and this is just something that we can watch as an indicator. If this starts bellying out real bad, then we can come back and scale this off. We got our overhead supported. Now we can keep working our way down the drift. All right, here's our update on what we did and got everything mucked. Look at how nice our haulageway is now. This is where that big pile of muck was. We're coming up to the raise, and man, those guys killed it yesterday. They hand mucked all of this stuff, piled the bigger stuff against the rib. That big mountain, the raise is right there. If you can see where I'm motioning with my light. There's a big mountain there. They got it all hand mucked out. So we come up a little bit of a rise here, and then we spread it all back behind. This was like 6 or 8 inches of nasty muck, and now it's hard. There's still little spots we can fill in. But look at that, it's dried out. Oh man, this is great stuff. Nice hard. I'm in here in my leathers today. But this is just exactly what we need. And I want to say a huge thank you to Mine Operator. Those guys worked their butts off. I don't think I've ever seen guys work that hard doing a crappier job. Hand mucking junk off the floor is just a horrible job. And they did fantastic at it. Smiles on their face the whole time. Excited to get back at it the next day. So thank you, Mine Operator. They have a YouTube channel, so check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go check out Mine Operator. And thank you to Milwaukee, because they're helping us out with all the tools and the batteries and stuff to make our underground mining adventure that much more successful. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the parts coming up. I've got several more videos coming up, but the grand finale is going to be us jacklegging on that vein and getting that gold out of there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. There's lots more to come. And sooner or later, I swear we're going to get gold out of here.